Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to jasonnewland.com. My name is Jason Newland. Please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. I'm using the other side of the iPad to record this, which means I'm a little bit distracted because I've actually got, over there's my TV. I've mirrored it to the TV so I can actually see if it's all aligned, because I can't see the screen because the iPad screen's the other side. But my big funny face is on this big massive TV, and I keep wanting to look up at it. I'll do it now. See? That's me looking up. I don't know why I'm telling you that's me looking up. If you're watching, you can see. So the way I had it set up, should I say, if I said only listen when you can safely close your eyes, this is to let me bore you to sleep. The screen on the TV is frozen. So I don't know. I hope it's still recording. I've had a look on the screen on the iPad. Still seems to be recording, but if it isn't, then hey, but it should be. Just means I've wasted loads of time. No, I haven't done a huge amount. I took Vinny out 3 times today. It's been a nice bright day, no rain, cold, but it's supposed to be cold. It's January, isn't it? It's supposed to be cold. It's dark outside now. It was light by 7:30 this morning. Now, it's been pretty much dark till 8 o'clock. The last time I noticed, so it's kind of, that's a big improvement. 7:30 and it's now light outside. 8 o'clock, I would say it's pretty much. I went out. What time did I get back? So I'm going to just see what time I went out earlier. Me. Oh, let's have a look at my video camera thing. Door camera. Oh, come on. I went out at 23 minutes past 4. I came back at 5 o'clock, 16:59. It was still light outside, but it wasn't light, if you know what I mean. But it was still light enough, didn't need lights. Didn't need his light on his collar. And if you'd have done if it dropped a log on the carpet, not on the carpet, on the grass, I would have been able to find it and pick it up. So it was just, it was sundown. I suppose dusk, getting there. But it was only a couple of weeks ago that it was pitch black at 5. Or it was like just completely dark. I like this part of the year for this. I'm holding on to it. I'm really gripping on to okay, what is the positive? What is, it's technically, a lot of people moan about April, January, February, miserable, 2 most miserable months of the year, blah, blah, all that. But I'm thinking, what good comes, what good happens in January? I mean, first of all, it's a new year. That's got to be quite a positive thing, I would say. Secondly, Christmas is over, so that's good for everyone that doesn't celebrate Christmas, or anyone that doesn't have a family, or whatever. So that's kind of good to be out of the situation where you're not maybe you're not where you feel pressure to be involved in something that isn't really part of what you do. And then also you've moved away from the expense of that, because December's an expensive month if you have to buy presents for people. And then the air can feel a bit fresher because it's cold. I don't know, there's something like when it's icy and stuff, you like, I'm not saying it's nice, not everyone, it depends if Pom's got lung issues and stuff, but it's kind of fresh air, and it's you get out in the morning. If I'm tired, no matter what time I go outside in this time of year, I'm awake, because it's like, oh, it's like icy air, like, whew, so I'm not walking around tired. And then watching the evenings become lighter by, literally every week, like every day, just by a minute or two or whatever, just gradually getting lighter and lighter, getting lighter in the morning, although it seems to get lighter in the evening quicker than it's getting lighter in the morning. Just, maybe it's not, it just seems that's the way it seems. Going from having to take Vinny out at 3:30 to make sure I was home by 4, because that's what time it'd be dark outside, to now being able to take him out 3:45. If I wanted to, if I could take him out at 5, and if it was a short walk, he'd be okay. I still have like maybe 15-20 minutes before it was dark. Just in that short time. And then we've got February. So now, I know it's not February yet, but we've got a week, haven't we? So 24th of January. How long have we got? Till there's 31 days, isn't there? So we've got literally 1 week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 more days. Next Sunday will be the 1st of February. And then February's 28 days. That's loud, isn't it? Be it a leap year this year. Is there a leap year? I don't know. 28 days, 27 days, 28. No, leap year's 27 days in February, isn't it? When is, not Volcanoes Day, Valentine's Day. When's Valentine's Day? February the 14th. So anyone out there watching me or listening to me that's madly in love with me, you need to hurry up and tell me, because I want my Valentine's cards this year. I've had enough of not getting Valentine's cards. Send me some Valentine's cards. Please, I beg of ye. I did once get, and I do mean once, I got flowers, roses, sent to me. And it was from someone I was dating. It's the only time in my life I've ever been given flowers from a lady. And the people in the office found it hilarious. I found it both romantic and embarrassing, because my work colleagues were making fun of me. And then I thought, well, what's wrong with a man receiving flowers? Because think about it, if I was gay, I would send my boyfriend flowers. because I like to send flowers to people. I send flowers to my stepmom on her birthday. It's not on Valentine's Day, obviously, but I sometimes send her flowers at Christmas or Mother's Day, things like that. So, if I had a girlfriend or a partner, I would be sending probably flowers to them on those occasions. There's a tiny bit of romance left inside this this thing. I don't know if you can see this. Look, it's a crack. If you can see that, it's a crack, and that's from recently. I dropped it on the floor. In fact, it landed on the metal leg of this desk, and then bounced off of that and landed on the floor. And I've looked after this phone for years. I've had this for probably since 2020, probably 1920, and I mean, I have dropped it. It's not like I've never dropped it, but I haven't broken it, not cracked it. And now there's, okay, it's not a crack. You see some people's phones and they're literally like just like a jigsaw puzzle, half done jigsaw puzzle. This is just a very slight thing, and it doesn't seem to be affected as far as me putting my fingers on it and using it. But you can only really see it if you look at it from a certain light. Actually, no, you can just see it. So that's, because you think about it, February, 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then we're in March, and March is officially spring, isn't it? February, we move into spring. So I would say kind of, I know technically November is autumn, but I would say probably half of November, the latter half of November, I would probably class as winter. Then December, then January, and then half of February, which makes 3 months. I'm going to split the seasons up in 3. There's 4 seasons, three each, months each, whatever. So I would say the last month of November quite often is very wintry. In December, January, and the first half of February, and then we start to get spring weather. I mean, sometimes we get spring weather in January, but that kind of, the daffodils start to come out, then the next day it's snowing. It's a kind of weird thing in this country, but which means we're only half a month away from spring. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, let's say, 3 weeks away from spring. And as we edge towards the end of February, no one argues that March is spring, do they? Spring. There's no argument on that one, regardless whether it's warm or cold or raining or whatever. Even if it's snowing, it's still spring. Like that part. It is, because it snowed in this country in July in the past. But no one said, oh, it's winter now. No, it's summer. It just happens to have snowed. We did have snow. We had like proper, I don't think it might have been in the 70s. Yeah, it might have been in the 60s. I saw a documentary on it. I'm quite fascinated by snow, because I love snow. I love snow. Love snow. I mean, I love it. I'm not a big fan of when it turns to ice and it starts to get slippery. I'm not a big fan of that. I never really was, but I think as I've got older and I just don't want to fall over because and it really is in slow motion. It's so weird. You'd think if it's slow motion that I'd have more time to maneuver my body so I didn't land on, so I landed safely, I mean. It really is like that's time distortion. It's like, oh, I'm going over. Oh, I got nothing to hold on to. Oh, I wonder which part of my body's going to land on the floor first. Oh, I wish I'd worn gloves. Whoops. And just, I mean, I know, just from training in the past that if you can spread your body out, then you're less likely to hurt yourself. So if you can spread your limbs out, and if you can actually hit the ground with your hands when you land, however weird that might sound, it does take the shock out of the fall, or it can do. And try and spread out a bit. Spread your legs, spread your body out. So it just, I don't know, it means that you've not got all your weight landing on just one part, like your shoulder or your knee, or, it's easy to say that. But in the moment, I'm like, the only thing that doesn't come to my head is spread out and, push down and hit the ground with your hands as you land, and spread out the legs and, try and even the weight so that you're not landing on one part, all your weight on one part, and, try and take the shock out of it by like hitting the ground with your palms of your hands. That's the one thing I'm not thinking about when I'm in that slow motion fall. It's weird. The one thing that would actually be useful, and it's not there. That's one of the things. I've got gloves, and they're really thick, protective gloves. They protect my hands, and they're the kind that motorcyclists use, because I know that if I go over, I can protect myself by landing on it. If I land on my hands, I'm going to be all right. I'm not, hopefully, but it's anything that's better than landing on my head. I know that's the part I don't want to be landing on. But at the same time, I don't want to land on my knees or my elbows or a joint, because that's just, I don't really want to land anywhere, just my hands. Ideally, I'd like to just be weightless and just land on my hands, do a somersault and land back on my feet, or just walk home on my feet, on my hands. But maybe that's in that category of what should be rather than reality. I mean, when I talk about fighting reality, I don't necessarily mean like just accept anything, where you were born into this kind of lifestyle, you were raised like that, therefore you shouldn't have any aspirations to do anything else, or blah blah. I don't mean it like that. I suppose just there's some realities, isn't there? Just some things are just, some things take a bit of work to change, take a bit of time. But in order to change it, there sometimes needs to be acknowledgement that there's an issue. So when I used to drink, it took a while to kind of realise that I was drinking too much and it wasn't useful to me. And I stopped for a whole year back in 2004. And then when I moved in here, because then after that I realised that leading up to me moving here, I realised just before my diagnosis, I realised that I was, my bipolar diagnosis, I realised that I was self-medicating, whichever way. You can stress whichever part of it you want. And I thought, that's interesting, because it didn't feel like that. And then I still drunk. I still used to drink, but not as much. And then when I moved here, so it used to be I'd drink at the weekends, Saturday night, maybe Friday night, maybe Sunday night, you know, but generally like Saturday night. And I moved here with that kind of habit of drinking 6 cans of lager on a Saturday night. Foster's, I think it was. And then one day, I just lost interest in it. Lost interest in drinking alcohol. So it wasn't that I tried to stop or that I had a big thing and, you know, I just realised that I didn't care for it anymore. I didn't need it. It wasn't helping me. It never helped me. In some ways, it really hindered me. And yeah, I think there's parts of my life would have been a lot better if I had not been drinking. But again, it's like, well, that is what happened, so hey, we have to sort of move on. But it's weird, when the pressure was took off myself, I didn't have any pressure on myself to stop drinking, because I wasn't drinking much, to be fair, when I moved in here. And I just didn't care. Like, I just, after about 9 years, no, after about a year, maybe less than a year, I just gradually just stopped. I remember once, and I think it was my 50th birthday, it was my 50th, I went to the petrol station and I bought, what did I buy? I think I bought 4, 8. I think I might have got 12 cans. 6 for me and 6 for Luke. And we start drinking. I'm sitting over there on the desk over there. He's sitting over here in the chair. This is where I used to have my black chair just here, facing the wall over there. That's where the TV used to be. The other side of the wall, the other side of the room rather, and it was a little TV. I struggle to even see the television now, never mind the screen. And so I'm sitting over there and we're just talking. I couldn't even drink half of the can before saying that I can't bother with this. And I just gave him the rest. and he just went downstairs and drank them. Because I wasn't going to watch him. I'm not. In no situation am I going to watch someone else drinking alcohol, because being around someone that's drunk when he's being sober is just, I personally don't enjoy it. Just because it's like you're a different level of, you're on a different plane, you know, consciously. It's better to be, Plus I've worked around drunk people and lived around drunk people, proper real drunk people, and I don't enjoy their company when they're drunk. When they're sober, I can absolutely adore someone when they're sober, but sometimes when they're drunk, it's like, oh, really? Why are you urinating against my front door again? Someone actually did that. It was in the garden. It wasn't my front door, but it was in the garden. This was probably the second year of me living there, maybe the first year. So I'm friends with Luke. We're downstairs. We're just having a few lagers. It's in the summer. Before we know it, like half the estate's sitting in the garden or standing in the garden. Like, I don't know where they came from. See, Luke knew everyone. Therefore, through him, I got to know everyone. Most of those people are gone now. They've left. But one person, he was getting a bit aggressive, and we kind of said, you might as well go now. And he left. And then I think one of the other neighbours came down the garden and said, someone was in the hallway urinating. I say, where? Is it upstairs? So the person that left walked to the top of the stairs. Like, he could have just walked out the front door, the front communal door, and gone against the hedge. You know, I mean, he only lived around the corner as well, literally lived a minute's walk. But he could, if he was urgent, he could have just gone against the hedge. But no, he walked all the way up the stairs, did it against the thing, probably looking down at us while he did it, because there's a window there. Probably giggling. I'm adding that for myself. And I came back in. So I went upstairs, because I think one of the neighbours upstairs said to me, like, what's going on? I said, oh, okay. It might be an Uncle Sausages, actually. So I came downstairs and I told Luke. Luke went round, got him. Frog marched him back here to clean it up. And it's like, the weird thing about it is he's so lovely. He was so lovely when he wasn't drinking. I mean, lovely. Like, you'd want to know him. But when he drunk, he just was a bit. He wasn't. Yeah, he could be not very nice, but not. I didn't find him scary. But he just, he's just, I don't know. I think Luke's dad used to go on really well with him, and they'd sit there and they'd talk for hours. And because this bloke was around my age, and he'd never seen him drinking before. Luke's dad had never seen this bloke drunk. So Luke was visiting. Yeah, Luke's dad was visiting and staying with Luke for a few days. And this bloke came round, because he'd been on a bender. So he came round, sat down. Luke's dad didn't really know what was going on. So he sat down, started talking. So they were just talking like normal. But he did have a vodka bottle in his hand. Luke came into the garden with me just to get away. And probably about 15, 20 minutes later, his dad came out and said, I'm going back to London. I was like, what's going on? He said, so like, before what's happened? Did something bad happen? We went in there and he was stripped off. The bloke basically decided he was completely naked. And he said, nah, I'm going back to London. I said, no, you don't have to just... this next bit I might be making up. In fact, I might have made some of that up as well. But I think he came up here for a while. Not the naked one, but Luke's dad, and just stayed here until Luke got rid of him. It was like literally, it'd be absolutely fine. He'd have a few drinks. It'd be a normal conversation. Then suddenly he'd be naked. Like, I'm surprised he found any pub to drink in. Seriously, it's like, it's almost like he had. Do you see? You know those dance routines. I don't know how to do dancing. You know what dancing is. And they kind of just go like that, and the whole uniform or the whole costume comes off, and there's another costume underneath. That seemed to be what he had, but there was nothing underneath. It's almost like he had, everything was just all connected, and he just pulled a little cord, and all of his clothes just fell to the floor. And it wasn't quite what I was used to, if I'm honest. So we've got a baby downstairs today, apparently. And Vinny, I've been sort of like, my neighbour said, oh, hope it don't disturb you with a baby. I said, I don't care. It's like, you can't be angry at a baby crying. Blimey. I know I'm a grumpy old man sometimes, but you know what I mean? Babies are supposed to cry. That's what they do. It's their job to cry, to throw up, to poo, and to look adorable sometimes, and sleep. That's kind of that's their job. And I've been thinking, I want to stop Vinny from barking so he doesn't wake up the baby, because I'm more concerned about him disturbing the baby. I'm not bothered about the baby crying, disturbing me. Nothing's going to disturb me. He hasn't stopped barking all day, apart from now. And there was one point I had the windows open in the living room here, and I could hear a dog barking in the distance, and Vinny was barking. He started barking. I thought, well, he hears that dog bark quite a bit, and normally he don't care that much. So why is he barking now? Why does he care about it? And he kept barking. I'm thinking, but it's in the distance. It's like far enough away for him to not really be bothered. And I walked past the window, my window. I suppose it's going to be my window, isn't it? I'm not going to walk past someone else's window. Unless I'm outside, but I'm inside. And I looked out there, and I'm doing the old foam things and putting these soundproofing on the wall. And there's a lady in the garden walking a cat. That's why he was barking, because he could hear and smell the cat properly. He could hear the person, and he just couldn't stop focusing on it. And it wasn't like full on barking, it was just every few seconds. It went on for ages. Very annoying. Very annoying indeed. Indeed. So, I'm having a problem with my DAZN app on my TV, and I don't know why. I wish I knew why, but I don't know why. And it's annoying me because every time I try and use it, it freezes, and I can't seem to, get it to work. I don't know why. Ooh. Right. I need to eat something. It's kind of like pizza time, really. Ooh, big juicy burgers. There's no point me buying a burger. If I get a delivery like Five Guys and Wendy's, I like both those burgers. Probably go Wendy's above Five Guys. It's not going to be warm when it gets there. No, it might be tepid at best. I'll put it in the microwave then. No, because then I might as well just get a burger from the petrol station. I'm going to be sticking stuff in the microwave. You know what I mean? It's like, nah. Also, with both Five Guys and Wendy's, because I don't order it anymore, but I did in the past. I went through a little period when I was super excited about having the opportunity to buy that stuff and get it delivered, because we were blacklisted in this building for years. No deliveries would come here. We could get supermarkets, Sainsbury's, Tesco, Asda. Iceland wouldn't deliver unless you actually went into the store. A load of taxi firms would not come to this property. We were blacklisted with some of the taxi firms as well. You know, and those that would come wanted the money up front on the phone before they came. So it's not like that anymore. And on the apps like Uber Eats, I was just limited to local stuff, local takeaways, you know, none of the big brands, none of the big names. And I was like, it'd just be nice to order a Wimpy. Wimpy don't do deliveries. Do Wimpy do? No, Wimpy don't do deliveries. McDonald's did do deliveries and they took it off. And they won't deliver to this address. Again, I don't know why. I think I know why actually. I would say it's because people complained that the food was cold. Because it was. I didn't have a warm burger arrive once. And Five Guys and Wendy's is more than twice the distance away from the closest McDonald's. Although, I heard somewhere, and it might not be in places like here, but I've heard in some places like busy cities, that there are places that make McDonald's and Burger King, and they do all this, they use the same stuff as McDonald's use, but they don't cook it at McDonald's. You know, it's kind of in some big warehouse and it's all cooked. Not all of it, because of McDonald's. If you go in any McDonald's, you'll see delivery drivers collecting stuff. But I heard somewhere, I don't know where it was, that is going on, where it's some kind of generic kitchen and they're doing takeaway food for all kinds of restaurants. So at McDonald's, Burger King, Five Guys, Wendy's. Now I heard it, I don't mean it's true, but I heard that somewhere. And the delivery drivers just go to that address and then deliver it. Because technically, as long as you're using the same stuff that McDonald's uses, the same potato fries, using the same burgers and the same oil and the same packaging, then no one's going to know, are they? Really? That's interesting. I would like a cheese omelette. I wonder if I can get an omelette. 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 I don't know how to spell omelette. Okay, right. Let's go back to there. So we've got like a diner, which isn't, it's only up the road, just not far, which means there's more chance of the food being hot. Ooh. But do they sell food though? I know technically burgers are food, but something that's a bit more substantial. Substantial. Now usually sub means less, doesn't it? Substantial. So does stantial mean unhealthy, and substantial means healthy? I don't know. Hot dogs? No, thank you. I've never had a proper hot dog, ever. I think I'd have to go to America to get a proper hot dog. Milkshakes, 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 milkshakes. See, I could really do with a lovely... Oh, yeah, that's what I could do. If I go to the Chinese, omelette and chips. I like omelettes. And I like a Chinese takeaway sometimes. Omelette and chips, that'd be nice. Do they have peas though? Because I think that can ruin a meal, can't it? Vegetables. Peas. I mean, do peas really go with an omelette? It might sound like a weird question, but be honest, do you think that peas go with an omelette? Or I could just go for Papa John's. Papa John. Papa John. Ooh, pizza. Because for me, I like Saturday night pizza. It's one of my little things that I've been doing for years when I can. And I like it, I do. I like it a lot. Wow, they're doing it delivery free. And £1 off the fees as well. Wow. I wonder if they're doing that with remove the item. Are they doing that still without the drink? See, I don't need a drink. I don't need a fizzy drink. So, ooh, okay. So that's like £7 less. Things with pizza, because it's a Hawaiian, like my shirt. It's a Hawaiian pizza. However, I remove the ham and I add sweet corn to make it a sweet corn and pineapple pizza. Because I don't do sweet corn and pineapple. So I just get the, picking my nose now, just get the Hawaiian but take off the ham. Although Vinny does love the ham, but I can't be bothered to keep picking it off, if I'm honest with you. So I've ordered that. That'll be here by between 19:20, 7:20 and 7:38. It's now 6:41. I mean, I do enjoy having a Fanta. until afterwards. So a fizzy drink, once I've drunk it, I like, oh, I never drink the whole bottle. Even if I just get a little bottle, like a normal size bowl, I'll drink half. But it's too much sugar. It's too much. So I don't have that anymore. I just drink some water. It's a bit boring, isn't it? But so I got me pizza, and with it comes a grow thicker. What? Look at this. Grow thicker, fuller hair with hair plus me. There's a 70%, £70 off hair plus me for 3 months. Get growing with personalised, powerful actives and UK first formulas. There's a little sign at the bottom saying ad. Really? Here's me thinking it was a delivery I could get. Yeah, like a full head of hair and a milkshake. Grow thicker, fuller hair. I didn't think it was legal from an advertising perspective to promise stuff like that. It's getting a bit stuffy in here now. So I've got all the windows closed, got the curtains drawn over, all these lights, got the door closed. I need some airflow, baby. I need some airflow. I don't know. As far as boxing goes, there was boxing on earlier hours of this morning. There was another one. There's two, in fact. So there's a new organisation run by UFC man. Suffer, I think it's called ZUFFA, something like that. And it's like a new boxing promotion. And it looked good because everybody that was on there seemed to be unbeaten. So they've been really kind of putting people together. Maybe not all unbeaten, but a lot of them. But I didn't get to watch it because part of it was being shown on YouTube. So when I woke up this morning, it was on. But they were just showing one round and then just blanking the screen for the next 10 minutes. Not a fan of that. And then they said, well, we didn't say then, but I looked it up yesterday, and it's on Paramount Plus. So I thought, okay, I just literally signed up for Paramount Plus because they offered it to me for like £1 a month for 3 months. I thought, yeah, I'll take that. Get to watch some different things. So the boxing is free on Paramount Plus. If you're in America or Canada, not if you're in England. How would it make a difference? It's on an app. It's streamed. Why would it make any difference where it's being watched? I don't know. So yeah, I didn't get to watch it. I mean, I didn't expect to watch it live, although I could have watched the last fight live. But I thought it'd been good to play it back, because usually, like with Netflix, they stream it and you can replay it. And I think they do the same on Amazon. If you buy, if you buy a fight, you can replay it back as well. I mean, I think, what was his name? Whoever's in charge of UFC. I know it's like it's a new thing, but why didn't he try and get with Netflix? It's the biggest audience he's going to get. It's the most amount of people that are going to watch, like, you know, there's no bigger audience online other than YouTube. But of course, you can't charge if it's on YouTube. So why not just put it on Netflix, have it there for people that have already paid for memberships. You're not charging anything extra. Because unlike UFC, I think part of the package was that they didn't charge any extra. It's going to be free. Whether they'll stay that way, I don't know. But have it on Netflix. I don't know. I've watched. How many fights have I watched on Netflix? I've seen so I saw Jake Paul versus Joshua. I saw Jake Paul versus Tyson. Yeah, that was on Netflix, wasn't it? And wasn't there another one on Netflix? Or maybe that was just it. Maybe that's the only two they've had. But providing they promote it and let people know, you know, on Netflix, because it's such a big platform, there's so much stuff on there. As long as they let people know that there's live boxing on every Saturday night, or most Saturday nights, just, you know, that makes sense, because they've got the largest audience out of all the paid streamers. That's why, because in the old days, right, in the old days, like back in the 90s, you had people like Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank, and they'd be on terrestrial TV, ITV1, Frank Bruno would be on BBC One, and they would literally get millions upon millions of people, like 20 million people would be watching Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank having their fighting each other. It's like 20 million people just in this country. No pay-per-view has ever had that. I don't think any pay-per-view has hit 20 million. I mean, saying that, you could argue, well, no, because, yeah, no, I don't think any pay-per-view has reached that. But it wasn't pay-per-view, it was free on the TV. Yet Sky came along and the boxers were coming around and they were fighting on Sky, earning more money, getting pay-per-views where maybe 400,000, 300,000, 200,000 people would watch it live. Sometimes a lot more, depends on how big the fight was or what time it was on. They'd earn more money as well than if they had 20 million people watching on BBC or ITV. But they wouldn't be as well known. That's the weird thing about it, because Frank Bruno was a celebrity. He still is. He's not so much in the public eye anymore, but he was a big star. Anyone that knows his name is going to remember his name, Frank Bruno. He did game shows, TV shows, as well as boxing. He's a legend. Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank, legends. But then you got people like Joe Calzaghe, who spent a lot of his career fighting on Sky. Still a legend, unbeaten, super middleweight champion, but made a lot more money, I'm sure, than Chris Eubank or Nigel Benn did. But how many people, members of the general public, would know who he is? Even when he was, at the peak. Because they weren't getting to see him, because a lot of people weren't prepared to pay pay-per-view money, or they weren't even with Sky. You always had to pay money to be with Sky, to watch stuff, especially the Sky Sports. And it brings me to the old question. There was Muhammad Ali. There was a time, I think the Olympic gold medalist, he was from Cuba. And Cuba have had a lot of amateur boxing success, like a lot. And I think they've had quite a few gold medal winners over the years. So this bloke, I think he'd won it 2 years in a row, maybe 3 years, but probably 2 years. Did you know that George Foreman won gold at the Olympics? Did you know that Joe Frazier won gold at the Olympics? As well as, Cassius Clay at the time, Muhammad Ali, he won gold at the Olympics. It's never mentioned about George Foreman, is it? Says that, he can't box. He was just a big puncher and tough, and he wasn't. To win the gold at Olympics takes more than just being a good puncher. You have a lot of skill to win gold, especially when you're fighting against Russians, other amateurs from all over the world. You've got to be super talented. No one just gives you the gold medal. It's like, doing the 100 meters and just saying, don't have to run that fast. Like, yeah, you actually do. You really, really do. So here's another bit of, do you want some trivia? Evander Holyfield, it might surprise you, he never won a medal at the Olympics. So he was 4-time heavyweight champion of the world. And he beat Mike Tyson twice. He was also unified or undisputed heavyweight champion as well as cruiserweight champion. So he accomplished more than pretty much any other boxer in the heavyweight division, pretty much. Anyway, and you think, okay, well, how did he not win the gold medal? That must have meant that he didn't enter the Olympics. No, he did. He entered the Olympics. Well, if he didn't win the gold, he must have won silver. Nope. Bronze? Nope. Did he get a little whistle for running up? Nope. If that's a thing. How could he not have won? Let's face it, he was better than everyone else. Arguably, head and shoulders above everyone else at the Olympics. Yet he didn't win anything. So some might know the answer to this, but I reckon a lot of people don't. What happened is, I don't know if it was in his first fight or his second fight or whatever. I can't give you that exact details. The referee shouts stop at the same time as Evander Holyfield throwing a punch. The punch knocked out his opponent, like clearly knocked out, gone bye-bye. It's like he was snoring, and he got disqualified. Evander Holyfield was too fast. There was no way he could have stopped that punch, because he literally started through it, and it was very controversial in a sense of disqualifying him, like he was out of the whole thing instantly. And they did that with some swimmers a swimmer, I think it was last year, and there's a couple of swimmers that were clearly friends in the next aisle to each other. And the one at the winner, I think one came first, one came second, and they might have been training together for the last 10 years of their life, and this was during the Olympics. And the one that came first, he kind of stopped, and his friend pulled up, probably 2 seconds, 3 seconds after him, and he's celebrating. And the one that kind of got first went into the other bloke's aisle just to cuddle him. Got disqualified. Because you have to stay in your own aisle. Now, I understand that if the person's still swimming, but great. I mean, I don't know if he might have even beaten a world record. I'd be adding that as an extra, just to make it more saucy. He beat a world record. Can't believe it. He was only 5 years old. He beat all those adults. He literally jumped in the water and he was back. He was like the man from Atlantis, who someone, if you're over 50, might remember. Basically, it's Bobby Ewing, what Bobby Ewing used to do before he got into oil. And Pamela Ewing. I loved Pamela. I don't care what anyone says, I loved her. I loved her. And Wonder Woman. And I loved Wonder Woman, I still do. Proper Wonder Woman. And who's the lady that was in Charlie's Angels, but she was in it all the way through? She had dark hair, brown hair. I loved her as well. She's the one that got least attention. If for some reason it was always the blonde, like Farrah Fawcett, Lockyer, whatever her name was, they seemed to get all the attention from the press, talking about Charlie's Angels and ooh. I loved the one with the long dark hair who was in it right from the start. When I think I must have been 8, probably 8 or 9, 8, yeah, probably about 8 years old when I first saw Charlie's Angels, and I knew that me and her one day would never meet. I tell you what I found very strange the other day. Now, do you know online you've got these people saying, "Oh, look what he looks like now. He was in that movie, and look what he looks like now. Look how he's aged." Like, yeah, everyone ages. People that look 20 don't look 20 40 years later. Surprising. I was caught off guard 2 days ago, I think, or maybe yesterday. I'm still a little bit shook by it. Do you remember the song? Well, those that are old enough remember the song Mickey. Hey Mickey, what a pity you don't understand. You take me by the heart when you take me by the hand. And she was dressed up as a cheerleader with all the other cheerleaders, and they'd well, that's what they dressed up like on Top of the Pops. I'm not probably the video as well. And it's like, it's like, wow. She's 82 years old. Not when she did the video. I'm talking about now. 82 years old. She's older than my daddy. I'm like, how is that even possible? Because she had that hit in about 1984. So she was in her 50s, 40s, and she looked about 21, 8, 19, 20. It's like, what the heck? It's really weird. I just can't believe, like, how can she be older than how can anyone be older than my dad? How is that even a thing? It can't be possible. I'm not being rude, but oh, come on. How can you be older? It's like, my dad will be 80 this year. I'd really like to get him something nice, like something that he'll not remember, because it's not really about, I don't know, at this age, this time of his life, I'm not sure it's about memories other than just enjoying time, isn't it? Or maybe it is, I don't know. But something that I'd really like, but I don't know firstly what he'd like. And I can't really afford to do much, so just normally what I do is just send him a gift from moonpig.com, and I really need to get some kind of sponsorship. I think usually I'd send, like, on his birthday, Christmas and Father's Day, I'll send stuff from Moonpig, and I'll get him some, like a bottle of whiskey, scotch that comes from there as well. The only time I ever got him something that was nice, I just realised that's not true, but probably the only time I got anything that was fun, is I bought him a drone. This is when I was working, so I had some money to play around with, a long time ago. So I bought him a drone. It wasn't an expensive one, but it was, it was a drone anyway. So you could remote control in that. Well, you know what a drone is? Okay. And I literally bought it from a drone shop. It wasn't the top level, but it was definitely like a beginner's sort of kit. And next time I spoke to him, I said, how'd you get on with the drone? He said, oh, broke it. So basically he just broke as soon as he used it. It just, I don't know, not quite sure what happened to it. And I thought, how can you expect to have nice things if you can't keep anything nice, can you, Dad? You need to start taking responsibility for yourself. So, I mean, I've got him, I remember once I've got stuff that I got him, like at the time it was up to date, but every single James Bond movie on DVD and a big box set. They've made newer James Bond movies since, and this is probably, it's quite a bit of time ago. It's still in his house, unopened. So it's like, well, what was the point? What was the point in buying that? Because, like, you literally, I know you've got no control over what someone does with a gift, but just at least if it was chocolate, he'd eat it. I don't know, it just seems a bit pointless. And I remember, I think about 2003, maybe 2005, I read this book. It's by the same person that wrote Chicken Soul for the Soup thing. And there was a book he wrote, one of the authors wrote a book, and I loved it so much, so very much. that I bought a copy for every member of my family. Now, I wonder how many of them even looked at it. I realise it's kind of one of those things, isn't it? And I'm probably the same as well. Someone buys me a book, unless I'm interested in the book, I'm probably just like, what you got that for? But because this was such a positive, life-affirming, not spiritual, but just, I guess spiritual, but it kind of more very positive book. I'm getting tired now. And it had transformed the way that I was thinking. And I thought, if it could do that for other people a little bit, then it's got to be worth it. And I gave these books out, and I've never seen so many disappointed faces. I can only compare that disappointed look to, well, any time anyone's seen me naked, really. That look of like, oh, I was hoping for more. I really liked him. It's a shame the relationship has to end now. So yeah, I'm trying to think, did I ever get anyone a decent present? I suppose that I've not had any presents, really. I've had presents, but like family-wise. I mean, the one of Vinny, the picture that was done like by my stepmom, my second stepmom. So that's probably the best present I've ever had from a family member, because that's a lot of effort goes into doing something like that. It's, you know, it's not an easy thing. If I attempted to even copy that picture, it'd end up looking probably, I don't know, a witch covered in treacle trying to light a candle. I don't know. It wouldn't look like what it is. It wouldn't look like him. Because I don't, you know, I'm just not my thing, really. So to put that much effort into drawing and painting something for a present is an amazing present. And then to have Andre and Vinny in the same picture is also just amazing. Cara, thank you. It's then the picture of me as a little baby. I don't know why I want it on there. I just want to remind myself that I used to be little. I used to be a baby. Used to be innocent. Used to be precious, kind of. Imagine that turned into this. That little, like nothing going on, to travelling all the way through my life, down my timeline, through all the weird things that happened that brought me here today. I tell you what I've started doing is watching Spartacus, House of Ash. Now, I watched Spartacus when it first came out, I think, which was, I don't even know what year it was, but I loved it. I want to look that up because it's going to bug me because it has. Because I was trying to figure, did I watch Spartacus when I was in this flat? Because I don't remember. Spartacus. Let's have a look at Spartacus. Spartacus. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Ah, wow. 2010. So 15 years ago it started, 16 years ago. Those 3 seasons, because I know the original Spartacus, unfortunately, I can't believe they've actually got Spartacus there, and they're literally showing the end of the 3rd season right as a video, as a thumbnail, as a trailer. That's ridiculous. Why would they do that? That's absolutely ridiculous. It was 3 seasons, but didn't they have Spartacus? I'm sure they had like a 3rd one where it was based on a different person, like another one of the Spartacan people who became friends with Spartacus. Well, anyway, the way they've done it is Ash, who was kind of the baddie in Spartacus, he's a kind of, maybe that's what it is, what they're showing that, because they're promoting the new House of Ash. But the original ending for the Spartacus TV show is undone, basically by the narrator saying, "Oh, what if that didn't happen? What if this happened instead?" I'm being very vague so I don't ruin it for anyone that maybe hasn't seen the original Spartacus TV show, because I recommend it. It's very good. It's awful at certain times, and the language patterns, the language, there's a lot of naughty words, but I don't get offended by stuff like that because I'm an adult. No, but the way they're talking is I don't know if it's Shakespearean or what it is. I need to look into it because I've forgotten how enjoyable it is, because I haven't watched it for absolutely ages, probably 10 years. So I watched it when it first came out. I probably, knowing me, I probably downloaded it, or maybe I might have got it from Blockbusters, actually, because Blockbusters was still around then. I think it was. Or I streamed it, downloaded it and watched it on my computer. One of them, I don't know. But whatever it was, I loved the show. And I didn't even know that they'd done a new one. I didn't know. Just like, it's on not MGN, the other one, the one I mentioned earlier that's got the boxing on, if you live in America. So it's on there, and I was like, wow. It's because I know the first season of Spartacus was quite big news because unfortunately the main character was ill, and he wasn't. They had to cast someone different as Spartacus in the next season. So that made, the TV show had a lot of press coverage, and also because of the kind of content, because gladiatorial, isn't it? And I'm liking it. I am really liking the new series, House of Ash. So he's basically got given another chance to see what it's almost like. What would life have been like if it had been a different ending for him? And now they're just going down that road. It's a weird way to do it. I mean, I think EastEnders was very strange. The way they started the new year by showing what happens next New Year. So New Year's Day 2027, or I think there was a sign saying Happy New Year 2025. But then on New Year's Day they were showing signs outside the pub saying Happy New Year 2026 or 2020. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like it's a year ahead. It's like, what's going on? And I'm watching it and I can't figure out what the heck are they doing, because I genuinely did not know what they were doing. Have I missed something? What? Why? What? So basically, it started with, what's his name? Max Branning, on his wedding day, getting married. No, we don't know who he's getting married to, because it's a year away. So he's getting married on New Year's Day. And he's getting phone calls and he's answering, but you don't get to see who he's talking to. And then you see like 3 or 4 different women getting dresses ready for the wedding. I mean, first of all, he wakes up in bed with someone. Never get to see who that is. And then his daughter, she's been like seeing some bloke. So that's a weird thing. And then the armed police come along and trying to arrest Max. And he's hiding from them. This is all on his wedding day. Don't know what he's done. And it's a year ahead. And I'm thinking, have they just missed out 2026? They've just written it off, decided let's go straight into 2027. That'll make people weird, especially people who've got a hangover from last night. I think they've slept the whole year. Ooh. It did feel weird, like watching it, like, this is strange. Someone's messing with me. And then he ends up getting arrested because his daughter dobs him in. Or just tells the police he's there. Dobs him in. And then it ends. And the next day, or the first episode in January, after New Year's Day, just goes back to normal from New Year's Eve. Just as it was. As you were, lads. Like, and I'm looking, I think, what's going on? Why? Why have they done this? Because that's a very strange thing to do. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've never seen that done before. It's freaky. It's just freaky. It's just a weird just very, very strange. I'm like really strange. I didn't like, really? 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 But yeah. But I'm behind now because I watched some of the, beginning of the year. I'm probably about 2 weeks behind, if not more, of EastEnders. And the more and more behind I'm getting, the less I want to catch up, because I know it's going to take me hours and hours and hours to do it. And I just don't know if I've got the energy to sit there. I mean, I know that I can just watch it, the latest episode, and pretty much be caught up with probably at least 60 to 70% knowledge of what's happened by just putting bits together. I don't know. It's nice to keep some kind of ritual, though. Not a ritual or custom. Watching EastEnders was a custom. It's an English custom technically it's quite new, because it's only been around since 1985. But it's a custom, like watching Coronation Street, or for me, watching Big Brother when it's on. But apparently they're not doing Celebrity Big Brother this year. No. Don't know why, but they're just not doing it. So the first Big Brother apparently won't be here till the autumn, which is not good, personally. But at least have it on in the summer. Why not have, it's because in the summer, TV's pretty not great in the summer on TV, like normal TV. Never has been. It's always because more people are out doing stuff, and it's just not. Maybe that's why they don't want it on. They don't want it on in the summer because less people are watching. But I like it in the summer because then people can sit in the garden, can't they? The contestants can sit in the garden and sunbathe and just, it can be quite nice. Especially if someone in there that I love. I've loved a few of the contestants in there. Not recently, though. I'm not even sure if I could remember who was in it last time. Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah. I remember one of them. Oh, yeah, there was that girl kept saying, sorry, Vinny, didn't know you was there. Kept saying, say it with chest. Say it with chest. Then a year before, there was someone who kept saying, what's that term? Kept saying a term. Oh, it was an LGBT term. I forget what it was, but she kept saying it almost like she was trying to learn it herself. And, if you keep saying the same word over and over again, it loses its meaning, doesn't it, anyway? Oh. But yeah, there's one say it with chest, and then she, the same one saying, oh yeah, I'm not angry, I'm passionate. It's like, okay, you should tell your face and your voice and your physical demeanour that you're not angry, because everything's showing anger right now, my dear. I'm passionate. Put the hammer down and the sword. Not lush. What was the word? Oh, it's amazing I can't remember it because she said it all the time. Slice. slide, side, ice, pride, shied, died, mide, slide. It was always that's pied. It was that kind of word. I'm sure it was an eyed. Slade. Slade. That's it. Slade it. Slade. Alright, Slade. Have I got the right word? Slade? Slade. Slade. I think that's the word. And she just kept saying it over and over and over again. It's like, okay, I'm learning a new word. I used to say lol. Like instead of laughing, they'd say lol. Well, laughing is uncontrollable. You can't control laughter. It just happens or it doesn't happen. It's not automatically by accident going to come out as lol. That's the equivalent. That's the equivalent of like someone saying something you don't find it funny. It's like, oh, yeah, lol. It's basically just sarcasm, really, isn't it? Lol. The only people I know that could do that, I'm not in that industry anymore, but stand-up comedians. They'll actually watch another act, do a joke, and say that's a really funny joke, without smiling, without laughing, anything, because they're just so. They just know what's funny. They go, oh yeah, it's a good line. And I never got to that stage. Either I laughed or I didn't laugh. I wasn't like some kind of expert comedy writer. But I always found it weird that they could just stand around like, yeah, it's a good line. Or, no, that's copied. What's his name does that line? Or they've changed it. Or, no, that didn't work. But if they did it like this, it would work differently. It'd be better. Or, they did that joke last night. It went down really well. It's just weird times. Is my pizza on the way? That's the question. Is it on the way? Is it on the way? It's 6 minutes away from here. 6 minutes away from here. Zoological Society. I didn't know there was a zoological society around here. Amir is delivering and he's got a Ford Fiesta. Ford Fiesta. Got 91% rating. The thing is, I've noticed this myself. Sometimes I get a delivery. Most of my Uber deliveries are groceries. Hardly any fast food. Really, well, depends, but yeah, mainly groceries and fast food. Anyway, stop judging me. Sometimes I get a delivery and I don't go straight to my phone to do click the thumb up button and then press all the buttons to say it was wonderful, everything, which is what I normally do. So sometimes I forget. So that person, this Amir, 91%, he might have just had 8% of his people not bother, because some people are just never going to leave a tip and they're never going to leave a comment or rate. Some people just never do that. unless it's 91% of people have rated, and 9% of those put down a negative comment or negative rating. That's what it might be. So it might not just be 91% of people that he's delivered to, because I don't think anyone's going to get, not everybody's going to get 100% ratings, like from people. They're not going to get, a lot of people just won't do the ratings, they won't bother filling in the form. So maybe that 91% is from, they just do the rating based on the ratings they've had come in, not based on how many orders they've delivered and whether or not someone's done a rating. I'm not going to ask him just in case, because he might be touchy about it. So my friend, right, knocked on my door earlier and he said, "All right, I was in bed having a little nap. Vinny woke me up, screaming in my ears to get out of bed. So I go to the door, haven't got my glasses on, look through the peephole. Okay, come in, you're right." He walks in. Vinny's excited to see him, it's his uncle. So he goes in, he said, "Oh, I've seen you without your glasses before." I said, "Well, I'd like to say the same to you, but where are you? I can hear you." We laughed. And he basically, the reason he came round is because he'd left his phone in the taxi. He just got a taxi from town. Phoned up, so I used my phone up, phoned up the taxi firm, and they said, "Oh, the taxi driver is about 5 minutes away, but he's on the way to he's going somewhere, dropping someone off at the hospital, and then he's going to have to come all the way back, and you're going to have to pay like £15. And I said, "But you said that he's just near me." I said, "Yeah, he's going to have to go past where you live to get to the hospital." So can't he just drop it off here? But I realised later on, like, maybe she's going to the hospital, so obviously that's more important than anything else. But it doesn't. She might have just been, visiting someone or something. But he literally was passing, and they called back and said, "Yeah, just be outside in 8 minutes," or it was probably, actually, to be honest, about 4 or 5 minutes. And the driver just stopped, gave him the thing, and said no charge, and just drove off. To me, that seemed like quite an interesting story. But I can add to it is I kept forgetting he didn't have his phone. And I said to him, he said, "I either left it in the pharmacy or left it in a taxi." And I said, "Well, why are you on the phone to the taxi? Why don't I use my phone and call up the pharmacy?" And he said, "I'm using your phone because my phone isn't here. I haven't got it." I said, "Okay, yeah, it's true." And then he's on a taxi firm, and they're saying, "Do you know who the driver was?" And I'm like, look, I'm sort of trying to get his attention to say, "Well, why don't you look at your text, because you'll be able to see the registration, who the driver was when they picked you up." And again, I remembered he can't do that because he doesn't have his phone. It was getting a little bit silly. In the end, I just kept quiet. And he said he was doing the same thing when he got home. It's like just, it's weird. We get used to having them, don't we? Don't we, eh? Don't we? Don't we? I'm a very well spoken young man. Oh yes. Oh indeed. So I've got 2 minutes. I do sometimes wonder though. It says, "Oh, I've arrived, he's here." So I'm going to go. Thank you for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. Be gentle with yourself. You deserve to feel safe. Lots of love. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.